The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
You're in Emsolation.
Oh, careful of the bra.
Oh, now he's got attention to detail. Okay.
Clack.
Okay. Well, we're coming in hot. Welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Rossiano. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, a neurodivergent magic brain, and a podcaster. And together with my best friend since I was 11, award-winning screenwriter, Mr. Michael Lucas, I bring you this podcast every week. And we've woken up today to a golden age that does not involve Christine Baranski.
It doesn't.
Sadly, that's the only golden age I would like to wake up in.
That's right. Her at war over who gets the box in the opera house.
That I can handle. Those kind of stakes I'm comfortable with. But the 47th and 45th president has been sworn in. Donald Trump did take office. We're going to be talking about that. Michael and I have gone back to embracing the gym and have noticed a disturbing trend that we wish to discuss. And also we are going to be announcing two international huge stars that are going to be guests on this show.
Who could they be?
Wait till the end of the pod. They are on Emmy.
You'll never think of it.
Who could it possibly be? Two of the biggest names you could possibly think of are going to be on our show. One of them in studio. I can't believe it. I can't believe we're going to have one of them in studio. You have to wait to the end of the pod to find out who they are. But first of all, my hormones have been up shit creek.
Pivot.
I, since about November, have been getting my period every second week. That's not how that goes.
No.
So I would get my period, I'd have it, and then it would finish, and then I would be like, great, it's finished. And then about 2 days later, I would start getting murderous again. I'd get like bloated. I'm like, what's going on? Then I get my period. I'm like, this is not right. So I just was doing a little bit of at-home experimenting with my patches, with my tablets. You know, this is what we should be doing. Why would you go to a doctor straight away to figure it out? Nah. Everything's closed over the holidays.
What, pray tell, were the experiments? What form did they take? What do you mean? Like you just started randomly changing up like when and where you put them?
Just if I put it on at all, how long it was on for.
Okay.
Other things that I was doing that, yep. Anyway. Finally today I went to see Dr. Nelly, my incredible, I call her my Iranian endocrinologist. She's Iranian Australian. She's amazing.
If she wasn't those things, it would be very weird that you called her that, but there is a logic to it.
She's so impressive. I love her. We were chatting because we've become good friends. And I said to her, how was the break? She said, I had a really relaxing week with my mum. And I said, oh, great. Where did you go? She said, oh, well, I was in Iran. And I said, you had a relaxing week? She said, well, yes, it is the Middle East. So I was worried about bombs. But other than that, it was so great. And I'm sitting there going, great, not really sure how to respond. But she told me it's the freest Iran she's ever experienced. Her and her friends from high school were sitting in a cafe and they all suddenly realized they were all in singlets without their head coverings on.
Right.
And they could never remember a time. She said it was fine. It's, Trump wasn't in yet. Things were kind of calming down. And I said, what a reality. I was concerned about, it's going to be too windy on the beach for my cabana in Perth.
Totally.
And she's in Iran. It's just there. And I said to her, well, we both had relaxing weeks.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But let's move away from the geopolitical stress and talk about my hormones.
I said to her, I've been bleeding like a wounded bull, Nelly. She's like, okay. Well, and so she's great. She's like, we're going to do this. We're going to test this. We're going to be putting in all sorts of things. I'm going to get a pelvic scan, blood test, all that stuff. And I'm like going, great, let's get to the bottom of it. And then she hands me, she's like, I'll give you some new prescription for your patches. Also, I'll give you the prescription for the gel because we are in a national shortage of estrogen patches, which is expected to last until the end of 2025. After which the patent runs out and they're expected to stop making them altogether because they don't make drug companies enough money. Oh, that's nice. And I looked down and I noticed the patches said replace every 3 days. And I said, Nellie, am I meant to be taking my patches off every 3 days? She said, yeah. So I've been changing mine own every 7. She's like, oh, okay, well, that would explain the bleeding. I said, oh. So I've been running out like a car running out of petrol and the smell of an oily rag. I've just been getting around on an empty tank.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Your little hormone needle has been oscillating wildly.
It's very me. I do drive my car until it's completely...
And eliciting so much blood, so much wasted blood.
Which is why
Could you have been donating it? How would that...
It's not cool.
That donation centre would be fascinating
Don't
to see.
know that there is a vaginal lining donation centre. I don't think so. I don't know what we'd be doing with that blood.
Well, if it ever comes up, you know how to trigger it now.
Absolutely. I could run my own just directly hooked up to my bloody insides. Just have a tube constantly. You want someone to spray it out like a fire hose. Anyone want any lining? Lining for sale. Have some of my lining. So all's well that ends well. I'm just going to use the patches correctly.
All's well that ends well, I say, after 3 months of severe blood loss and insanity.
And got anemia. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought massive blood loss would result in me being anemic again?
No, I don't know.
So I'm going to get myself a little iron infusion. I'm still going to do a little bit of a up there.
What does that mean?
A little bit of an insertion of probing just to check out my ovaries, see how they're going. We
okay.
haven't checked in on Beryl
And by
in
that
a while.
you mean you're going to a professional that's going to
I won't do it at home with the iPhone camera.
Because I'm just questioning, sometimes it seems like your medical trial and error that you conduct at home.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm running a full Garvin Institute at my house. Is that what the Garvin does? It's the only institute I could think of. Remember the Garvin Institute? What does it do?
I know the Pons Institute, I remember, absolutely.
Definitely running a Pons Institute at home. No, if there was a way that I could do a internal pelvic exam, I would be doing it 1,000,000%.
But would you know how to interpret the results?
Never stopped me before.
Okay. Don't like the look of that.
No, I've got to go and get it done. But I'm going to a gynecologist. I'm also, because I've been auditioning gynecologists for the girls, because I said to both of my daughters, you need to be in charge of your reproductive health. You need to be empowered with information. My first gynecological visit was when I was pregnant. Too late. So,
You've been auditioning by going to them themselves or making them sing a selection of Dear Evan Hansen, because it could go either way.
No, I've been doing like Yelp research and then I went to Nellie
rigorous.
and I said, rigorous.
Yeah, you've been Googling.
Yeah, I haven't been like going in with my own badge and saying, do your worst and then rating them out of 10. I haven't literally been going in and saying, here you go, here's one that's at ground zero. What can you do for it?
There should be a Yelp for badges, though.
So we've found a gyno and I'm going to go off and have all my bits and bobs checked out just in case. I will try using the medicine as it was recommended. Boring.
That seems a bit extreme.
I know,
Are
right?
you sure?
Boo.
Can't wait for the next update.
So it's going to be fine. Before we get into the downfall of the free world, I have a bone to pick with you 3 alleged homosexuals. Last week, I was wearing my beautiful new Gucci necklace, which was gifted to me by my friend Lara.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean she bullied me into taking it from her because I said I liked it once.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you're going to have it. And I said, no, it's your necklace. And she said, no, I only wear gold anyway. You have it. We always try and martyr ourselves with each other because we're both eldest daughters, type A, ADHDers.
Yeah, it sounds healthy.
So it's weird when we're together, we get really frustrated because we can't, the other won't let the other.
It's violent.
Yeah.
Take my generosity.
Yeah. Let me cook you dinner. Stop doing my washing. I won't care. It's so intense. It's like we were fighting over getting the shopping bags out of the boot. It was like, let me carry them.
My generosity trumps your consent.
Let me be a martyr. So anyway, I had it on last week and when I put it on in the mirror, it was the correct way.
Yeah.
But I was watching the video back and I'm like, my Gucci necklace is on backwards. And then I tried to flip the screen, but then the words behind me obviously were backwards, the Emsolation logo. I'm like, these 3 gay men sat before me for nearly 2 hours and didn't say a word.
I'm sorry.
What is going on?
Well, speaking for myself, I think it's just that I see your inner beauty and soul.
Shut up.
I don't go for the external.
Again,
I look at you and I
even
see Gwyneth Paltrow. No, maybe it was cool.
Sure. Sure. Cool. What do you 2 have to say for yourselves?
I saw it and I actually did notice it, but I thought, oh, she must be doing something in the mirror, so she's reversed it so it's in the right way. I won't bother picking it up.
James, what's your explanation?
As the person who spent a few hours editing that frame, I thought it was an artistic choice.
Yeah.
You lot would let me walk around with my flaps hanging out the side of my undies if I did that. You must be in charge. Somebody must be like, am I okay right now? Is there anything hectically wrong? Is my
I've
bra
sorted
put
out
away?
The boob. It's good. It's good. I'm being vigilant in terms of that. Look, I mean, maybe you're going to. Do you know that most of Titanic, when Kate's getting on, they had to flip it because they only built one side, so everything had to be mirror reverse. So maybe you were doing a similar sort of digital.
Enough
trickery.
of my life resembles the storyline of the
right.
Titanic currently.
That's right.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
All right. Well, that was all I had to say. Let's move on to fun things.
Oh. Oh, no, that is fun.
Before we get into the downfall of the free world. Friend of the show, friend of us, Jason, hello, darling, has bequeathed me the most stunning gift. If you're listening, you won't be able to see this stunningness of Chad Michael Murray and his 2025 Christmas / whatever, rest of the year calendar is Christmassy on the front, isn't it? He's kind of like sexy Santa Claus.
And I love that he is reading a book with apparently no name.
Absolutely.
Or anything.
Who needs it?
Yeah.
And so if we just turn to, it's stunning. Now, Jato, thank you so much. This is going to take pride of place. We're going to pop it somewhere in the Emsolation office. This cost, I think it was like $100 US.
Wow.
And I just want to say, not worth it. But I do know that the money was going to charity.
Oh, okay. Well,
so,
that's great.
Jato, claim it on your tax, darling.
Yeah.
But let's just go through some Chad Michael Murray. I mean, just some stunning imagery.
Oh, that's a heart. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Because of Valentine's
Valentine's Day.
Okay, of course.
He's holding an arrow to his chest. He's got
That's
some
right.
red boxes on, holding a red heart cushion over his crotch.
Yep.
Yep. There he is there
There's
for
an
Easter with a pair of God help me grey tracksuit pants.
I find that shadow of the bunny quite terrifying.
It is. There's one there kind of nibbling at the side of his
That's
hip.
right. That is a man in caloric deficit.
I mean, look at the gutters on it, wouldn't you? Look at
wouldn't
that.
you? Jesus.
I know.
You could grate some cheese on those gutters. That is
amazing. So thank
I
you.
don't recommend playing basketball in that attire, though.
I don't think so. I think the bow tie could be a choking hazard.
That's right.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jato. We appreciate that here. And the 12 months of Chad Michael Murray calendar 2025. Amazing.
How it will be treasured.
Okay.
Fun's over.
Fun's over, guys.
The end of the world as we know it.
Indeed. Michael Lucas has been charged. He is our official Trump correspondent, as I am the Royal Watcher.
The first thing I wanted to show was, okay, so this is the thing now. The New Yorker, they post the covers that they would have done.
What?
They prepared it in the case of her victory. So they're like, just so you know, like we had to prepare it if she won. And that's torture to do that.
That is wild.
Yeah, just so you really feel.
It's like when the Drag Race contestants get evicted from Drag Race, they the next week post the outfit they would have worn for that runway.
That is exactly what it's like.
It's the same thing. So the New Yorker have got, it's a drawn picture of Kamala and her suit is made up of all the freedom fighters and
feminists,
pictures of them inside of
racial
her suit.
justice fighters, like Martin Luther King's there. Anyway, so we can just reflect on, well, that didn't happen.
No.
Right.
Is that meant to be Hillary?
Yes, it is.
Next to Barack?
Yes,
and
they look
is
a
that
bit,
Joe up the top?
I'm going to generously say I'm hoping that they've morphed it around the folds of her thing, because otherwise they're very unflattering paintings there.
Yes, but it is very much here I am and wearing the suit and hard work of the people that came before me.
Yes, everything's led to this. Wow.
Well,
no, we're in the alternate universe. Congrats. And so in the lead up to today, it was obviously intensely cold, and so they couldn't have the outdoor big, the one that they normally do in front of the Washington Monument and everything like that. They instead had to do it inside in the rotunda, which I believe was one of the areas that was stormed on
what a stunning
January 6th.
Poetic.
Yeah. And there were some people that were instantly out. So Michelle Obama did not attend. Nancy Pelosi, who kind of had she broke her hip, so she kind of had that going on.
No.
But the response that I wanted to show was AOC.
Oh, God.
So she posted an Instagram video.
It was amazing.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate rapists. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
I mean, there's no misunderstanding that.
There's no misunderstanding. But also I feel like in the decision of whether or not to go, the M position and the Michael position, you would have been hardcore AOC, and I would have been
Penny Wong.
I would have been Penny Wong.
Penny's there.
Oh, she is there.
Totally.
I know. Just staunchly refusing to answer any questions about anything.
The Chinese president sent his vice. He didn't turn up. I kind of like that.
Well, but the TikTok CEO was there. Don't you worry about that.
Didn't it look like the TikTok CEO speech was given with like there was some kind of weapon being held at his back? Did you see that speech he gave about President Trump saving TikTok?
Yes.
He didn't. I'm like, is this man's family okay?
Probably not.
Because he didn't blink for 2 minutes. I wonder.
Can you imagine the pressure on the TikTok CEO? Like considering the forces that he's wedged between. Not that I'm feeling sympathy for him. I'm sure he's very well. Okay, I've got a few selected highlights.
Amazing.
This intrigued me.
How do you feel the inauguration compared to others in the past?
Oh, well, I mean.
More oligarchs were present.
Oh, all lined up together. They put them all together. Bezos, Musk, and Zuckerberg were all in a line.
If something had happened to that building.
And don't do a Madonna. Don't say you wished for it.
No, I'm just saying like the top 1% of wealth would have been wiped out.
Well, I mean, look, the last inauguration, of course, gave us the camp classics of Lady Gaga in the Hunger Games outfit. And then also, let us never forget J-Lo. We don't need to play it again. If you want to put it in, though.
Of course, we'll put it in.
When she was still together with Alex Rodriguez.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't expect... I mean, look, it's a confronting time in America, and I did not expect any camp highlights. I'm going to say there were a few.
Of course.
The campest element, of course, is when we get there, we finally behold what Melania has worn. And
amazing.
Melania's entering an era. She released her autobiography. And
she's got the Amazon biopic.
She has. Jeff Bezos just decided. I mean, why?
He's $40 million.
It's like he's trying to curry favour with them. Who knows why? Melania's instincts for fashion and for design have always been idiosyncratic. Mm-hmm. Even dreaming of what she might come as. Let's just show the moment when Trump comes up.
She's in a black hat with a... She's got all of her hair tucked up in a black wide brim hat with a white strip. Very White Lady Funeral-esque.
It is. There's so many references. White Lady Funerals.
The high white collar.
Yeah. Someone has said Hamburglar, and I see it.
She does look like the Hamburglar.
She really does.
And the funniest thing, it's been pointed out, Saint Hoax, our favourite Instagram account, said she wore the hat to have a buffer zone from kissing him.
And it was successful.
But that's how you kiss a drag queen at a club. You don't touch the makeup.
Yeah.
But Trump, what I noticed was Trump didn't even try to get his head underneath the rim. He knew the state of play. Let's just go. Oh, no. Mary.
2 inches.
She did not even try. Bridging the Panama Canal would be easier than bridging that gap between
Panama
that.
Canal, that's been taken back for America. Well done. Nice.
Hasn't it? Thank you.
I mean, just everything about her outfit just has a stay the fuck away from me vibe about it. But also, like, no one else is wearing a hat. I just love that she is, and it's not just any hat. It's not a little fascinator. It's like an alien mothership has landed on her head. And I don't want to
We're not glamorizing this.
We're not
but
blustering.
You have to find the sparkly lights of camp in amongst the darkness. And Melania's outfit and choice of headwear is brave.
It really
is a choice that she made, and I want to know. I need to know who her stylist is. We still have not cited this gay.
I think she is expressing. I know there would be one. I think they're giving her options, and I think she is going.
We will wear the hat. He cannot touch me.
He cannot.
He will not, and he cannot touch me.
I mean,
I live.
Anyway, all right. So
Next.
Carrie Underwood, of course, was the performer.
Get to us.
Controversial, yes. And she was singing America the Beautiful, so memorably performed by J-Lo last time.
Never forget.
Never forget. Carrie did not. Her most iconic song, Before He Cheats, If Only.
Lol, the irony.
I know.
Imagine. America America before he cheats. And there's the in on Melania's hat.
Yeah.
And Melania just tipping it. Yeehaw! Too late. That ship sailed, bitch.
Very much sailed.
Yeah.
A solid 15. When you were pregnant, no less.
A few times.
But there was a drama because they attempted to start the music. It came on briefly and then it stopped.
Took forever.
It
was
and
so
then
awkward.
Someone was jiggling around with chords and then eventually they just had to say, just raw dog it. And so she had to sing a cappella.
All I'll say to that is beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns.
That's your vocal. But the horror for me was then she said to the crowd, like, you're going to have to sing along with me. And as fate would have it, the frame was her and right behind her was Kamala, who was being stony-faced, but then was put in a position of she can't sit there and not sing America the Beautiful.
Can't be smirched.
So she had to. So let's just have a little look at what happened.
Facial expression choice.
Yeah.
So beautiful for spacious skies.
Kamala's not singing
at the moment.
Amber waves of gray.
What do you think so far of the performance?
Purple mountain
Oh, Kamala. She is thinking, do I have to do it? And she's decided I'll lightly participate.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
Tough job.
I mean,
But I'm sure the
Kamala-
millions of dollars they paid you to do it will keep you warm tonight.
The fact that the two women he defeated
Mm.
have to be in frame, sitting there watching the whole thing. And when Kamala was made vice president, of course, he was out there launching an insurrection against it, and she still has to be there.
Mhm.
Do you reckon it's
How do you show up?
disassociation?
Yes. I've been thinking about Kamala so much because she's there obviously in her role as vice president, not as in the person he defeated at the election. Because traditionally, if you're not, you wouldn't probably be there or you'd be further away from the action. Because she's vice president, she has to be there to watch the person that defeated her, of her most hated enemy. She has to be there in shot, celebrating it.
And if she did not attend, the judgment on her would
she
be
can't.
immense.
This is a lose-lose.
Imagine if she tried to go out and start an insurrection. Imagine.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama could lead it.
Oh. So Trump did speak.
Yes.
And I haven't got any clips of that. But I
Good.
mean, look, basically, normally it's like a general vision of America speech,
No.
but his was a policy
Here
one.
are all my policies.
Well, he did say that he felt like he'd been selected by God to save America, to make America great.
After the
because of
bullet ripped through his
That's
ear.
right, on a beautiful Pennsylvania day.
Yeah, he was spared.
And then
That's very
he made sure he ticked off everything.
Yes.
Yeah, America, where there will only be two genders, men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And drill, baby, drill. He got that in there.
Thank God.
What a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Because there's no evidence of any climate change catastrophes that's happening in
fine.
America. We should be completely confident about that.
It's all good. There's only two genders now,
That's right.
apparently. So to all our non-binary friends,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
look, I'm going to say something that I hope brings you all hope. I do love to read things and study the patterns, and turns out I'm not psychic, I'm just autistic. But I do feel like we're going to look back on this moment in 10 years and realize Trump had to happen for the revolution to begin. And I genuinely think, even though despite him saying, I won in a landslide, this is the most historic win of all time, it was
a very close election.
Half the country were dead against him.
I am wary of the fact that Susan Sarandon said this would happen last time.
Yes, it's true.
And also, great, maybe it does. But then they're like, you know what? We've hit carbon emissions have hit so far. It doesn't matter if we have a revolution, we're extinct.
Well,
there's that option too. However, he did, when he was listing all of his ridiculous policies, probably the most memorable moment was when he said that he was going to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and primarily because Hillary lost her shit and started laughing. So let's just have a little look at that.
Okay.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name.
And Kamala looks like death.
So I want everybody to know. So Hillary's shoulders is a very deliberate. She knows that everyone's going to pick up that she's laughing at this. And you see Bill lean across and just say something like, "Stop it. You need to stop laughing." Like I see him. I saw the head turn. It's like when I yell at my children quietly at the shopping center, "You need to stop this right now." So I think she knew what was going on.
She just reminds me of my mum. If she had a gin and tonic, she would be my mum in that moment.
Same.
Just sitting there watching everything she hoped for in this world slowly erode. So that's my inauguration coverage.
Very good.
But we are, by the time you will be listening to this, we will have experienced day one, of course, where he is promising, mass deportations and God knows. We all remember the early days of the last Trump presidency.
Yes. We'll see. Now, before we head to the sealed section where we will be discussing Cher's autobiography, the fourth wing book has been released. It's coming out, Onyx Storm. Obviously.
Is that the name of the book or the author?
Book. No,
okay,
no,
right.
Rebecca
Or
Yarros.
Elon Musk's child.
Could be all of them. We'll be discussing that. And also, Michael's giving his Oscar predictions.
Well, talking about an Oscar. Oh, I can. Yes, I will.
Just save it.
Okay.
Save it. So we're going to be talking right now, though, about the fact that you and I are both back at the gym.
Yes.
Now, I put up a video of myself the other day, probably the first full kind of video I've in a while. People don't really know I've been out getting super duper fit. And I looked at myself at the gym the other day. I'm like, girl,
Yeah.
you're almost at Linda Hamilton.
My mum knows. She's noticed.
She has many, many times over. And even sent me a photo that she took of me as proof.
Yeah, that's right.
And I put a video up and I have been inundated with, what have you been doing? How have you done it? People like, send me your exact meal plan. Send me your exact gym sets. Like it's almost like, give me a blood sample.
I'm using your protein powder.
Are you loving it?
Yeah, because it's like a chocolate milkshake.
And it also don't you feel like you got more energy?
I do
At the
actually.
gym? I told you.
I know.
fucking
But
told
also
you.
I recover so
Much quicker.
I
It's
know.
good for muscle recovery. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
So we both embraced the gym in our
And
mid-40s.
in my case, I went to the gym when I was in university in my first degree. So we're talking late 90s. And then I started backpacking, moved to Sydney. And when I eventually started doing formal exercise, it was like CrossFit.
Yeah.
And so I have not been to a gym for a quarter of a century and I've come crashing back in at 46 and the culture has shifted
The culture
somewhat.
has shifted. I worked in gyms in the late 90s. I worked at A1 Fitness Club with Zoe Ventura. We worked reception there. So I've worked at Reservoir Leisure Centre. That was hectic. When Reservoir, and then if you lived in Reservoir in the 90s, you know what I'm saying about Reza. But I was in the gym culture and I understood.
But like, what were you doing there? Training?
I was
or-
doing reception and then occasionally I taught a spin class.
Oh.
But I did a Vic Fit course.
Spin classes are so popular now. I don't even remember that in the late 90s.
Oh, it was huge.
I remember Les Mills Body Pump, which is still going.
Yeah, you can get Les Mills like merch now, nostalgia merch from Reebok. Yeah, no, Les Mills is still going. I wonder if Les is still going. Remember that whole
Well, I think we deserve to know, as someone who's been to many of his classes,
It's
did
true.
it do the trick?
Hey, going Les. Who's man? What are we doing? Who is this man?
I think he's New Zealander, isn't he?
Absolutely. So, the gym culture has changed. What hasn't changed is big, sweaty dudes not wiping the equipment after they've juiced all over it. I've had it.
Really? In my gym, that is one of the big things because in my...
Oh, there's signs everywhere. We have little disposable
Yes, me
wipes.
too. That's all new post-pandemic.
So bad for the environment, though.
But do you know what the worst part about that is? In the 90s, there used to be a thing where if you wanted, say, lap pull downs or something like that, and someone was there, you could say, do you want to
No, you don't do that.
alternate? You do not do that
You do
anymore.
not. You do not.
And I understand why in a way, although it does slow everything down, but also nothing makes me angry. When someone like gets on that machine and hogs it, and then if you're
Gets out their phone.
Yes!
In between sets.
and then I start doing sort of make sure I just walk by just to let them know I'm
I just
waiting.
stand
I'm waiting.
there.
Yeah.
I took on a 12-year-old. This brings us to our point. I have been noticing in large numbers, swaths, if you will, of prepubescent teenage boys in packs of 4s or 5 going to the gym. And when I tell you, and I said this when I did my little Instagram rant, there would not be one pube to share amongst the 4 children. Children. These people would not have gone through any sort of period. Whoops. Puberty. Yeah. And I'm sitting there and they are lifting heavy.
Yes, they're doing weight training.
And their technique is appalling. They are not switching their cores on. Their cores probably haven't fully finished growing. They've probably got 3 abs between them. And they sit there and they all hog the royal family of the machines, which is the lat pull down, the leg press, the leg extension. They don't move. And in between sets, they sit on their phone. And I had it. And so I went and stood with my hands on my hips and just stared down a 12-year-old who was on his phone, sitting on the leg press, just like he was just laying by a pool in Bali. And I stood,
Instagramming. It drives me wild.
why are tween boys going to the gym?
Well, I mean,
I have an answer.
well, I was going to say the insane body pressure as elicited by
Correct.
the social media revolution that we've encountered since the last time we went.
And it's called looks maxing.
Okay.
There's a whole movement I was unaware of.
Right.
It's terrifying.
Is
There's
it
a documentary.
specifically for young
Yes,
boys?
only boys.
Oh.
And it's going to shock you. Guess where looks maxing actually was birthed? in
Instagram.
incel chat groups. Yeah, it's how shocking.
Yeah.
So basically it's on Stan and it's this documentary and it's all about how young men who are feeling angry at the fact they can't, get a date are turning to these forums where they take a picture of themselves and they say, rate my looks. And then they get a forensic breakdown of, we're talking about the measurement between their nose and their chin needs to be an optimal measurement.
Yeah.
They're doing things like jaw smashing where you hit the bone so hard that they swell and readjust so you get a bigger jawline. They're injecting things into their face. They're taking illegal medicine. They're going to the gym. They're getting testosterone. And they are completely obsessed with getting the perfect looks so that they may, obtain women. But along the way, they began becoming very mad at women because they think that they're the reason that they're having to put them. One man went and got his legs broken and spent 4 months in Poland to go from 5'8" to 6 foot and lied to his family about what he was doing. Like he had to be in they broke his legs.
Broken.
They
added an extension.
They break your legs in 2 places. They insert a thin metal rod and then using magnets over 4 months of inpatient treatment, they stretch your legs out.
God.
So new bone forms in between the pole and the old bone and the magnets. All for the sake of 3 inches.
Wow.
And the guy who was doing the doco is like, what if your life doesn't change and you've spent 6 months in a foreign country?
You get angry.
$100,000 for the surgery.
That's wild.
And so I'm watching this and I'm thinking, no wonder 12-year-old, 13-year-old boys are at the gym because this is insanity. And they're saying, when you've got Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and you've got Trump coming out to Macho Man, this whole Uber, masculine, and it's just trickling down to young boys who are seeing all this stuff. And a lot of the time it's AI. They're not even real people. So this is why we're seeing an influx of these little
I'm sure
kids.
some of them are validly there for some reasons.
Yeah, I spoke to a lot of parents over the last couple of days saying, my son goes, he's 15, it helps with his confidence, he's doing boxing, and that's all great. The mental
15's getting a bit different.
15's fine.
Yeah.
The mental health aspect I get, but these little kids that I'm seeing are just like they're barely doing a couple because their weights are so heavy.
I used to be told that if you did
growth plates,
100%. Was that just something they said to kids in the 90s?
I have no idea.
The one other thing that I've noticed that's big is way more women, especially older women,
have strength training.
Yes.
I know.
I'm
noticing that too. It's so great. For so long, we were barred from strength training because we were told.
That whole section of the gym, like it changed climate and scent when you walked in there because it was so, whereas now, completely different.
Yeah. No, I don't feel intimidated going into the squats end of the gym.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that too. Women are really being included in that strength training, which is what I'm doing. I do majority of strength training.
The other thing that really makes a difference is back when I used to go to the gym, you're at the mercy of, there would be banks of TVs. You could tune into Channel V. It emitted a radio thing and you tuned in, but you're at the mercy of whatever song was playing. So if you got a good song, like if it was like suddenly Madonna's Ray of Light played, I would run so much faster. And
now you can listen to whatever you want. Headphones.
Oh, and I've got the plug-in headphones. I'm the only person in the gym that has them.
Really?
Yeah.
You have plug-in?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Because I lose the little ones.
Do I need to get you some headphones?
No, because I lose them all the time. I lose them constantly.
How do I keep mine?
I've got my plug-ins and I've got my sockets. So I'm still in the 90s.
My plug-ins and my sockets.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly now you do socks up to there.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone
Crew
does.
socks.
But aren't they hot?
Nah, they're fine. I do it. It's good. I just want to say, if you do have a son in that 10 to 13 age bracket, check in on him. Like, look at what he's looking at. Check the YouTube algorithms. I had to pull up the YouTube. We've had to stop the YouTube. Elio's been watching escapology videos and I happened to leave the room for 3 minutes. And as I get back, he's scrolling through. Somehow we've gone from people escaping from water tanks with handcuffs and we've landed into, it was just water bondage.
Oh.
Because he can't read yet, but as he was going across, I could see the images like, whoa. And there were very scantily clad ladies in handcuffs and tanks.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah.
That
it's
was
a
a thing.
whole world. So just check in on your tween son because often we think about the body image pressures on girls and AFAB, but the boys are now evening up.
I know. I loved it. In the 90s, we're like, too much body image pressure on girls. And the answer seems to have been not to reduce any of that on them, but rather to just increase on the other side.
So I just think have a nice chat when you've got them locked in the car about, and if they are feeling weird about their body, offer them alternatives to, hardcore weight training or maybe get them off the internet for a little while. But I was unaware that this shit was going on. All right, before we go, if you are listening to us for free, think about subscribing.
We've still got more in the tank.
We have so much to come. We are very excited to announce 2 huge stars.
International stars.
You're laughing, but they are.
They are. No, I know they are. I'm just laughing because they have such a clear and direct link to us that
they don't.
Really okay.
Until you keep weirdly giving it away, because I have interviewed Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
I know, but I worry that when you say international stars, people that, not that these, okay, I'm just going to shut up.
Amazon, this ends, what's the thing with Pedro Pascal?
The Last of Us.
One's on The Last of Us and one's on Interview with the Vampire. So I feel like they're pretty big shows.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They are huge.
So joining us on Emsolation on separate occasions, the first will be
Anna Torv.
Yes.
She'll be via link.
Yeah, with you.
With me.
Yes.
Yes, with all of us.
Yes.
Discussing the new season of Newsreader Season 3, premiering February the 2nd. And having a in-person premiere on January the 31st.
At Acme.
At Acme, yes.
And also coming in studio.
In studio.
We're so blessed and honoured because we're very, we've been chosen.
We've been chosen.
He doesn't do this for just anyone.
Doesn't do it for just anyone.
Sam Reed.
That's right.
In studio.
/ Dale himself.
At Down the Hill Studios, Lestat will be here.
Yes, we're recording it before the screening.
We're very excited. So it's going to be a big week of Emsolation coming up.
And we are saying that if you've got questions.
Yes. Please send them.
We want to know what they are.
If you have questions for Anna and or Sam, please email them to us at
emsolation@downthehillstudios.com.
And obviously newsreader questions, but also you might want to know how was it working with Pedro Pascal? Because it's much cooler if it seems like it's coming from you.
I'm going to ask her. I'm flat out going to ask her.
And him, you might say, what's going to happen in Interview the Vampire Season 3? And he won't be able to tell you.
I'll flat out be asking. Don't worry, I'll be asking questions. I won't bring up the air sex scene.
You know that I'll be thinking of that the entire time.
He heard it. He listened to it.
I know.
He already knows. Sam loves me.
Okay,
I want you all to know the value in this interview is I'm going to make sure James has a camera just trained on Michael's face for when Sam is in studio. Because when I tell you the anus pursing that will be going on as he will be afraid, because I will be tickling the line, because my favorite thing in the world is making Michael uncomfortable.
It is.
Because I edge on the line of I know the areas. He's like, fucking don't.
And also it's just a situation where, he literally plays the world's most famous sexy vampire. So there are so many pathways for you to access that line.
I'm going to do it. Okay, so that's all happening. Coming up next, though, in the sealed section, we're going to be talking about Cher's autobiography, Onyx Storm. The third installment of Fourth Wing is coming out. Michael and I are going to attempt to pronounce the dragons' names out loud. It's not going to be pretty. We're also going to be having an Oscars chat. All of that is coming up. If you are not a subscriber, you can trial us free for 7 days. Why wouldn't you do it? You got absolutely nothing to lose. Go now to
emsolation.supercast.com.
That's all for now. We'll head into the sealed section.
It's Emsolation Extra.
Hello and welcome to the sealed section. If you are on a 7-day free trial, welcome to our house. Please take your shoes off, enjoy, look around, touch, feel things. There's so much for you to catch up on. Cher's autobiography. You've chosen to read it.
I was gifted it by my sister-in-law.
That makes
Claudine.
perfect sense.
Yes, but it was great actually because it began when I was at the beach, and I suppose you could do an audio book at the beach.
Absolutely, because there is an audio version, which I was really excited about, and then I discovered it's read by an actress who sounds like Cher, the woman who played her in.
Oh, the Broadway musical.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Smart move.
But
what? That worked spectacularly for Britney.
Yeah, no.
Frankly, I was relieved when Michelle Williams took over.
No, but this woman is doing it as Cher.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, Michelle
wasn't doing it as Britney.
She had enough of it.
Oh, no, but she wasn't doing an out-and-out impersonation.
No, she wasn't, but it was beautifully calibrated so that you could just feel like it was Britney.
Did you see the video where Britney claimed
If you want to hear, or even better, watch what happened next, give yourself the gift of Emsolation Extra. For less than $2 a week, you get 2 bonus episodes every week, close friends access on Instagram, pre-sales ticket priority, and merch discounts. There's even exclusive video episodes of our sealed section every Thursday on our Extra tier for less than $3 a week. Find out more at emsolation.supercast.com now. Emsolation with M. Rusciano is recorded at Down the Hill Studios. Hosted by M. Rusciano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by M. Rusciano. Edited by Ezekiel Fenn with videos by James Henderson. Socials by Benjamin Wasley, M. Rusciano and Marcello Rusciano Barrow with assistance from Jem Evans and Isabella Hines. You'll find links to get more Emsolation on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. And thanks for listening. We can't wait to chat with you again soon.